Uh, yes, my name is Bayo. I have nothing to do with dragons. But I'm here to be with you and to talk with you for a little while. I have to catch a plane in a bit, so there's no time. But I know that when times are urgent, the thing to do is to slow down. So I'm going to ask us to do something real quick, okay? A ritual to begin. Is that okay? Can we have a ritual? Ritual? Okay. This is an initiation into depths. It might have something to do with dragons after all. But what I'm going to ask you to do must stay in this room. Are we in agreement? Are we in agreement? This is sacred stuff. It mustn't leave this room. If you tell anyone about what is about to happen, you will die. Okay? So we're in agreement. Of fish poisoning or something like that. So I'd like you to get up from your convenient seats, if you can, and find two persons and give them a hug so tight that you leave a stain of your skin on theirs. Make it quick, make it quick. All right, that's enough. That's about it. Ritual done. It's over. Cut it out. And scene. I did that.
Dragon. I love it.
All right. Okay. You're only supposed to take a few seconds. So if you exceeded that, you will die as well. It's good to be here. My brother Edgeguard, just a round of applause for my brother. Real quick, I speak in times of pain and fire. James Baldwin, y'all know him, right? What did he say about no more water, the fire next time? It feels like we are in those days of fire. The clouds are yellow, cloudy, orange, dripping with fascism. There are people being bombed right now. The skies are lined with a palimpsest of missile lines, you know. And so these are very troubling, turbulent times. And the vocation of the public intellectual is to dwell within these moments, not to escape them, not to dance away from them. It's to be with them. And I want to sit with them a little while along with you and ask the question that has been echoing, that has become something of an atmosphere in these times. Like, what do we do about these moments? How do we capably respond to fire? How do we capably respond to wars and Gaza and apartheid and climate chaos and George Floyd and racism? How do we even rise to the occasion of the obliteration of the Amazon forest? What does it mean to live in moments like this? There are suggestions, wisdoms of the moment that suggest, well, just do something, right? Feels like a Nike ad. Just do something. Do something. Get up from your seats and do something. And yet there is a sense in which we are slowly learning collectively in molecular homeopathic doses that doing something could be complicit in creating and reinforcing an atmosphere of violence. And I'll say what I mean briefly. Many of you know about MLK, Martin Luther King. And I tell the story all the time. One of my favorite stories to tell, one of the most gravitationally consequential stories to tell, is Martin Luther King speaking with this handsome brother called Harry Belafonte. And Harry comes to him and says, hey, brother, he notices that Martin Luther King is, he has this despair on his face. And he says, brother, what's up? Why are you looking sad? And Martin Luther King, he's just fresh from speaking with the Poor People's Campaign. And he says to him, brother, we've achieved so much. We've done things. Black people are coming into their own. We're finding ourselves again. We just achieved the Civil Rights Act, 1964. Hubert Humphrey and Lyndon Johnson. We are making things happen. But why do I feel, and he paused when he said this, why do I feel that we're integrating into a burning house? Why does it feel like victory itself is part of the problem, right? Why does it feel like we're integrating into a burning house? This was 5 days before he was murdered. A crack in this great moral technician's entire philosophy. But he did not have the time to figure this out. He did not have the time to dwell with this crack. It was just a simple question. Why do I feel like the destination is part of the origin's violence? And I think that's the question we're asking these days. We're in some kind of a death spiral when the thing to do is part of a weather, an atmosphere of doing that reinforces the very logic that we're trying to upend. When the way we respond to the crisis is part of the crisis, right? I call it a death spiral after the entomological phenomenon of ants walking in a spiral, going faster and faster, telling themselves that they have to get home, right? It's a pheromonic accident. They just keep on going round and round. You might have seen it. Check out on YouTube. Just type in death spiral. The ants go round and round and round and round, and they die there from exhaustion, right? Reminds you of another species, it might. It feels like a carousel. We're constantly putting new boxes on the architecture, but it still goes round. We just keep on going round. We need a break of some kind. On the flight here, I was victim to another occasion of a fart. Right? It's one of those occasions, being on a plane, where you, right? And I remember looking around. I'm not sure why I was looking around. Like, what are you, Edgeguard, what are you supposed to find? Like, but then I reminded myself that maybe the habit, because I fly too much, maybe the habit of looking around is my way of parrying the accusation that may be coming my way, as if to say, who did that? The way to do it is to create an exasperated look on your face, as if, who did that, So people do not think you did that, kind of thing. Of course, the thing is, I've often been the culprit while doing that. But then, as I did it again on the flight here, no, not me. I mean, as it happened again, I caught myself in the act, and I reminded myself, what if this Scooby-Doo inspired whodunit habit is getting in the way or obscuring a different kind of question, which is, what if a fart is atmospheric? What if the question is not reducible to the sphincter that released the poison, and is more, hold on people, this is serious philosophy, and is more in keeping with a larger question of how we are all participating in a space, inner logic, right? I know. It's difficult to convey the seriousness of what I'm trying to say when you start with a fart. But the question remains, what if we are all in it? What if it's not about who did it? What if the room is the agent here, not the actor in the room? What if violence is like a ricocheting object that frames our actions, right? The pragmatic thing to do is what the establishment tells us to do. Do the pragmatic thing. Just do something. Call your senator. Call your legislator. Do something, right? I sense that doing something can be part of the problem. And I know that's a controversial thing to say, but my people have had to learn the hard way that sometimes if you're so found, if you're so legible within an establishmentarian pattern of behaving, within a neurotypicality of responsibility, then you might be part of a field of relations, a grammar of acting. I call this grammar of relations pragma, right? From the Latin or Greek or whatever, that signifies the deed, the thing to be done, a taxonomy of action. And my sense is that that is becoming stultifying. The space of responding to is increasingly part of the problem. A quick example. And many of you I know are conscientious folks. You throw your trash in carefully delineated boxes that are supposed to send your trash to a place called away, right? Where it is processed and processed and processed and comes back to you as a righteous tote bag that tells you that you're one of the good ones and you're good, right? You're good, you're okay. You're saving the planet. Of course, it's usually very hard for people to realize that 90% or more than 90% of the trash does not go to a green emerald city called away. It comes to me. It comes to Africa. It comes to Asia. It goes to Vietnam. I played on the debris of your righteousness, right? My mountains were not Swiss Alps. They were giant fields of stamped computer systems that were discarded and had the recycling symbol boldly imprinted on their screens, right? What if recycling is part of the field of relations that reinforces a righteousness that obscures that we're always within networks of suffering? And that's my question, right? A while ago, I was reading a paper from the New Scientist. I'm subscribed to their beautiful essays. And this was from a scientist who, I think his name is Florian Newcart. And he wrote a piece about space-time. And this might upend the entire cosmological field, because the thesis was, what if space-time remembers? Not that, we usually think of space-time as empty, and that we're the only ones consequentially agential within space-time. But now there is a speculative thesis that suggests that space-time is archival, that it is replete with life, that every act ripples across space-time, as gentle or as simple or as little as it is. You see, I think we act within an Enlightenment-inspired Euro-American framework of agency that suggests that we are the consequential ones, that nothing else is moving, and that we have to scale up, right? We speak about solutions, bureaucratic solutions, techno-bureaucratic solutions, philanthropic solutions. But what if solutions are getting in the way of the vital work we need to do as a species right now? Because solutions are proving not to be resolving at all, right? What if there's a sudden, fugitive, crack-like, post-activist, para-ontological, feminist, indigenous invitation to lose our way? Like the Yoruba people say, in order, hold on, no time. Just keep it till I leave, okay? That in order to find your way, you must become lost. in order to find your way, you must become lost, right? I think we need a crack, right? That crack that inspired Martin Luther King to suggest that victory wasn't even as tempting or as delicious as he thought it was. It's like we're in a pendulum swing. We're moving from the left to the right, all the time. When it swings to the right, the left screams and then offers moral recuperation, and then the pendulum swings to the left and the right revolts, and then it goes back. And I'm wondering that, look, it seems the clock is not scandalized by where the pendulum swings to, right? We need out of the clock. We need out of this mechanism that keeps us in the slushy, swingy pendulum violence that we're in. We need a different kind of politics, because politics as we know it today is tired. It's exhausted. It doesn't know what to do about Gaza. The nation state is exhausted as a technology of response, right? We need to become more than the anthropocentric figures that we are. I just met a sister, and she had a conversation with me. She said, I've heard you many times online, but I wanted a face-to-face conversation with you. I've spent most of my life working in the Amazon forest, and then something happened, and I could no longer respond in the same ways that I'd been responding to it, and I'm tired, and I'm traumatized by that entire experience. Is it possible, she asked with tears in her eyes, is it possible for anyone to recover from all this trauma? And I said to her, I'm not sure it's possible. I'm a clinical psychologist by training, but I'm recovering from all that training. And she said, I'm not sure it is possible, I said to her. But more critically, I'm not sure if we're supposed to recover. What if the thing we want to recover from is a kind of gift, a grace-like inception, inviting us to lose our way? What if that exhaustion is exactly the thing we need to build parties around, to invite community around? What if exhaustion is the invitation, the site of rest, of a different kind of sensibility? What if we're seeking ontological fugitivity, sensorial mutiny, from the ways that we're habituated into this field that I call pragma, the thing to be done? What if it's about losing our way? What if the thorn in the flesh is a reminder that we're not all too human, that we're also plant-like, right? And the thing to do is not to remove the thorn in the flesh, it's to cultivate a presence with it, right? And that's why my people say, in order to find your way, lose it. Become monstrous. So I end with James Baldwin again. We've run out of water. He said it himself. No more water to fire next time. I don't think there's any more water to turn out the fires. The time is right, my people, to become water. Not just to throw water, but to become the thing itself. All right, you can clap now.